Just before the break, I'm going to throw this out so fast, and then we'll have our break and we'll come back and we'll get in more of the reinventing structures piece of this. But just want to hear from some of the pre-modern voices about this soul work of opening up. I'm going to do this really quick. This is from Aquinas, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to study under Matthews, because he's one of the few people that noticed that Thomas Aquinas was a mystic. Almost everyone says he's a scholastic, and of course he is. But there's a very mystical element to Aquinas that's lost just in the magnitude of academic, intellectual, theological work that he did. Listen, this is what Aquinas says. It says, one opens the heart. One opens the heart by joy. So we almost could ask ourselves, does this bring me joy or does it not bring me joy? Now I like this word. One opens the heart by curiosity. We one season a number of years ago, our musicians created a mass for holy curiosity. And this idea of questing. We did it a lot around themes with St. Thomas Aquinas, kind of the patron agnostic, that agnosis, that questioning, evaluating, searching. But I like this idea of holy curiosity. One opens the heart, Aquinas says, by contemplation, by looking, by seeing, by being present to and with. Meister Eckhart said that if I spent enough time with the tiniest of caterpillars, I would never have to read a book about God, because so full is every creature of the Word of God that would suffice. And so he goes on in that sermon that he's preaching in German to call us to look, to see, to find the divine that's bubbling up in and with all things. Aquinas says, when we fully open the heart and it fills the whole house, when we are truly present there, the next thing we do is play there. I love that, because that's not the way people view Thomas Aquinas. When fully opens the heart, it fills the whole house. And this becomes a space where we play. Lady Julian of Norwich, and I'm not sure that she gets the credit that she deserves, but probably the first major theologian to do theology and write theology in the English language. But since she's a woman, not sure that she got credit for that. But Lady Julian says, the soul is as large as an endless world. It's quite different, is it not, than Descartes that we talked about yesterday. She says, the soul is a joyful kingdom. The soul is a beautiful city. Lady Julian says the soul's duties are to reverently wonder. Like that call to wonder and amazement. Rabbi Heschel, if any of you have studied Rabbi Heschel, is wonderful. But a lot of his theology is based on this idea of radical amazement. It opens the heart up. The soul's duties are to reverently wonder, I like this, and be surprised. That's almost like Aquinas' curiosity, is it not? Be open to the mystery, to newness, to freshness. The soul's duty is to gently let go and let be. Eckhart has a wonderful sermon on letting go and letting be that's very important. We don't have time to visit that. But this idea of letting go and letting be, that sometimes we just have to discipline ourselves and have the ability to let go and subtract some of the things that are choking out the soul's life. Separate out from them, set them aside, let them go, and let them be. Lady Julian also says the soul is sensual. Hildegard uses the term that the soul is juicy. And Hildegard says that the way you can know that the soul is moist is because when it is, it will back up and fill the eyes. Hildegard says the soul is a breath of living spirit. And this living spirit permeates the entire body and gives it life. There's the debar that we talked about yesterday. Eckhart says, for the will to be free and for the soul to be free, it must return to its prime origin. That's very Zen, and I think that's really what meditation or centering is about, is that return to your prime origin, to your original face, your I amness. Not to get bogged down with the objects that arise, but your true self, your authentic self. Eckhart says, God is an underground river, no one can dam it up. And the ground of the soul is dark. Sense of mystery, of cosmos, of cosmology. I think I gave you this quote yesterday, but he says, go in, go down, go down. You'll find the whole universe there. I went back to my room and tried to find the poem that and I accidentally merged two poems together. So I will give you both of them. Both of these are from his. If God invited you to a party and said, everyone in the ballroom tonight will be my special guest, how would you then treat them when you arrive? Indeed, indeed. And the Fizz knows there is no one in this world who is not upon his jeweled dance floor. And I merged that with this one. The sun once glimpsed God's true nature and has never been the same. Thus that radiant sphere constantly pours its energy upon this earth, as does he from behind the veil. With a wonderful God like that, why isn't everyone a screaming drum? The physicist's guess is this: any thought that you are better or less than another man quickly breaks the wine glass. Yes?
Could you spell that name?
Hafiz. He's a medieval Sufi mystical poet. The best translations are from Daniel Ladinsky, who is very much a hermit that has lived with the words of his and worked hard to translate them into English in a way that still feels poetic. The physicist poetry is very playful, and Daniel Ladinsky, I think, has done a good job of keeping that partner with it. My bishop just walked in. Now he's going to be nervous.
You're safe, man.
Okay, I think where we ended yesterday is this idea that the kingdom is birthed, the soul is birthed, it's not built. Patriarchy has tried to build things. And our great litany yesterday, in a sense, a lot that was on that big list that we worked through were the products of patriarchy. Trying to build institutions, build a society, build a culture, build a church. But when the Word was made flesh, the Word was not built among us. The Word was what? Born among us. It took a womb. It took the darkness of the womb. It took the moisture of the womb. It took the earthiness of the womb. The Word was made flesh and laid in a manger. And amongst the animals and the smells and the straw and the simplicity of what we call the nativity.